Welcome to Robbie Stream. Tonight, we're gonna go through Sparkle on Raven. Yeah, a lot of great background characters. Is that Zoro? We'll get to Zoro. It's time to talk about lesbian Zoro. Dev did this really cool animated panning shot, and we need to fill in some characters. One day, before this episode was even written, Char posts in the Sparkle on Raven development chat room, I have a new idea for a character. I'm always open to new character ideas. If anybody has something, I want them to bring it up to the table. I don't want anybody to say, I have an idea, but I don't know if anybody would like it. You know what I mean? So Char says, I have an idea for a character. Awesome. And Char posts a picture of Zoro from One Piece with the lesbian flag on them. And it says, I am lesbian Roronoa Zoro. Now, when I say a picture of Zoro, this is a JPEG of Zoro from One Piece with the lesbian flag hastily cropped on top of it. And I said, what is this? And Char says, I want a character in Sparkle on Raven that is just a JPEG of lesbian Rorona Zoro. And that's the whole character. And I said, no. I said, I would really rather we focus on like drawing a character instead of just putting in like a JPEG and being like, that's the character. And we've broken that rule before with Omen and Gentleman Broncos on Blu-ray. That would stand out. It would just be more interesting to like make an original character. So I said no. And then Char said, but it would be funny though. And this line of questioning, this response, but it would be funny though, has cursed this episode. But it would be funny though is the lines I do not want to hear whenever anybody brings up a rebuttal to a no. But it would be funny though. So I said no, we're not putting in a JPEG of lesbian Zoro into the show. Char said okay. Char said okay. After some kicking, Char said okay. Fast forward. We're talking about students that we could put in the background of this shot. Students with swords. We said, let's put some sword students in. We can reference some stuff. We got Saber here. You know what I mean? There's a design for Rising Zan Samurai Gunman. He was going to be in the shot. Didn't make it. And Char said, I have an idea. What if we put in the JPEG of lesbian Zoro in here? Now, if you remember, chat room, eagle-eared viewers might remember that I said no to this idea. I said, no, no. I already said no. The JPEG of lesbian Zoro is not making it in. Now, I must have gotten up. Bro got up. I must have taken a shower. And by the time I came back, Dev has a drawing of lesbian Zoro. Might I add, by the way, just reminding you, is just the character Zoro with a lesbian flag on her shirt. There's a design. There's an in-universe design for this character. And I said, what's that? What are we doing? What's this? And then both Dev and Char said, oh, we're gonna put lesbian Zoro in the shot. I was like, okay, but why? And the answer was, because it would be funny. You know what? I'm convinced. Char's done so much for the show. And when it comes to breaking the JPEG rule of just putting a JPEG in the show, the only one who's really broken that rule has been Char. Episode 4, Tensai's eating a fucking Whopper meal. It's just a JPEG of a Whopper. So you know what? I'll take that. That's the L. Lesbian Zoro, fine. I said she will be in the background of this shot. That's fine. Fast forward. Filling out some more shots. Everybody's working really hard. Char's pumping out scenes like fucking crazy. Boom, 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 boom. Wait a minute, Char. Who's that? And Char says, oh, well, that's lesbian Rorona Zoro. And I say, what is lesbian Zoro doing in this shot? And Char goes, oh, well, she's looking at the crabs walking around on the grass. I thought I said no. Lesbian Zoro is a background character in one shot. What are they doing in this shot? We probably shouldn't put them in this shot. And the answer I got back, say it with me, was, but it would be funny though. At this point, we're crunching. It's fine. It's a quick shot in the opening. We put Paul Phoenix in, right? Paul Phoenix is canon in Sparkle on Raven. That was a great gag. You know what I mean? Just a character showing up from something else and they're in this episode. That's a great gag. I guess we're gonna do it again in this episode. We're crunching. I can't complain. We need shots. This is fine. We needed a character in this shot. It's fine. This is one of the many times that I have to kneel. I take a knee and I take my L's and I said, fine, it's fine, it's fine. Zoro's in the show. It's fine. Fast forward, we're in major crunch time. This is like the day before Kalawakon. We're in major crunch getting stuff done. People are submitting shots like crazy. People are trying to get in as many as we can. And then there's this shot later on in the episode where there's like some cut-ins of characters looking at. And Char posts like 7 pictures in a row, all of different shots. We got Raven. We got Dark Shield. We got Dawn. Now, chat room, I don't consider myself somebody to get disrespected a lot. You know, I could take a joke. But on the 3rd time, we're on strike 4, and I said, Char, what is this? And Char goes, oh, during the cut-in scene, we're gonna, no, I know what these are for. I know what this is. What is this? And Char goes, oh, well, that's lesbian Zoro. I think the term that I used in that conversation was, haven't we already had this conversation? I was mad. I was like mad. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I said, this shot's not making it in. And Char says, aw, why not? This is the main this character shows up more than fucking Tensai in this episode. No, it's not making it in. And then Char said, but it would be funny. No, it fucking wouldn't. This shot's not getting in. Now, normally, after the 4th no, someone might go, okay, I understand. What Char said at that point made me see red. Char said, well, when everybody else gets in the call, we'll talk about it. And I was like, no, we're fucking not.
She said, we'll see.
Absolutely not. It's not getting in the episode. I said point blank, this is the only time I put my foot down as a director. This character no longer exists. As far as I'm concerned, this character got ran over by a tractor after they showed up in the last shot. Listen, lesbian Zoro, whatever. Lesbian Zoro's in the show. At this, there's nothing I could do to stop this. But this moment is just one of many in this episode where I felt like I had 0 power. This was like the final straw. I was like, I can't take it anymore. No, if I'm editing this episode, this shot is not getting it in, mark my words. And it didn't. I've heard many lies about what happened. That was the truth. That was the whole truth. And that's not the only character I've rejected at Sparkle on Raven. Let it be known. I'm gonna be honest, I forgot 2 of those interactions you mentioned. Not me. I do want to take this opportunity to tell Char, I'm sorry. Char saw a side of me that I don't like to bring out. The situation probably could have been handled better. So I want to take this opportunity to say, I apologize. This is obviously a character that you cared about, and I did foo-foo on your idea. So I apologize.